There you go. So it's Sunday afternoon and I'm at the tail end of this fuel off, no leaking fuel. And did a ride and I could just hear grinding in the back end here. So I went to take a look at the gear oil in the back here, and it looks just like rust water. I mean, that is not what... I don't like that. So there's a fill hole on top. That came out fine with an 8mm Allen. Bottom one here is stripped out. And this would be a whole lot nicer for draining. While I was down here, I noticed the weld broken on this skid plate. Not really a big deal. Another thing I'm noticing is the bottom of this engine case pretty wet from oil. So there's some small leak in here somewhere, maybe even around the shift shaft. I'm not going to worry about that one. I'm not going to get into going through this whole motor. Not at this point anyway, but I am going to I'm going to take this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to weld that up. Probably touch the bottom of this with some paint to fight the rust. Looking at some of the rest of this boot looks to be in fine condition. That's always handy because putting a new boot on is a pain. But if I take this skid off, maybe I can get some bolt remover in there, something so I can get that out, get that replaced, so we can drain this in the future much easier. So that's what we're going after now. Biggest bolt extractor in there, but these are wide threads. I don't know about this. Got it. That was a little bit of effort. So here we go. My easy out just chomped the middle of that bolt out. Just had no luck with heat and with some Freol. What I ended up doing is grabbing the grinder and grinding down the aluminum around the edge here so I could get my vice grips on the edge, so I could get a grip. Get in there. Grinding down the edge so I could use my vice grips, get a grip on the edge, and then it spun right out. So considering how demolished this is, we're going to get a replacement. What I'm going to do today, I'll use the top one because that's in good condition, back in the bottom here after I let this drain for 20 minutes or so. And then I'll get a replacement. I'll just kind of put this finger tight into the top just to hold things together. Right now I'm going to touch this up with a little bit of paint, flip it down, let it keep draining, and we'll move on. But this stuff looked like rust water, so glad I'm doing this. This will be easy to change out in the future. do the other side. You know, the weld's stacked a little bit there, but that should, it was all the way snapped through, so we'll see how that holds up. And then down here was just wire brush, and I touched a little bit of the rust spots with some semi-gloss black just to clean it up. I'm gonna tighten this up a little bit. That's the good bolt. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna take this down, let it drain for a while, then put it in. But there's the undershot. We got the fairings in, all the bolts greased with the Zerks. Got my bolts in here. Turned out that the bolts on this side here, they're actually an M8 1¼ pitch. I thought those were M7 1 pitch, and I was wrong. So M8 1¼ So now we've got the new used front bumper on, and we're really up and running. I'm just doing cosmetics, and just ultimately my OCD got the better of me. As I was riding, I could hear a little grinding. Took a look at the you know, the transfer case oil in the back, or the diff oil in the back, and it looked like rust water, so I couldn't let it stand. Alright, it's been draining for 15 minutes. There's no more drips under there. So I'm going to put that bottom drain plug back in and top it off with some ADW90 gear oil. And we'll pay attention to it. Frankly, I might even have to drain this another time just to get all that rust coloration out of there. Just don't like that color.